name is Robert Mills. This is my senior capstone presentation. It is titled Plastic Illusions because it is a mixture of what Williams called his plastic theater, which is a form of realism, symbolism, and magic, with illusion, because as you will see, every character is hard to distinguish between what is real and what is fake. I want to warn you that there is suggestive language as well as material pretty much throughout the entire piece, so just be forewarned. It lasts about 45 minutes. And I would like to give a special thank you to Tony Quintana, who's not in the program. He is running both sound and lights. Thank you. Enjoy the show. Yes, I have tricks in my pocket. I have things up my sleeve. But I am the opposite of a stage magician. He gives you illusion that has the appearance of truth. I give you truth in the pleasant disguise of illusion. To begin with, I turn back time. I reverse it to that quaint period, the 30s, when the huge middle class of America was matriculating in a school for the blind. Their eyes had failed them, or they had failed their eyes. And so they are having their fingers pressed forcibly down against the fiery braille alphabet of a dissolving economy. In Spain there was revolution. Here, there was only confusion and shouting. In Spain there was Guernica. Here, there were disturbances of labor, sometimes pretty violent, in otherwise peaceful cities, such as Chicago, Cleveland, St. Louis. This is the social background of the play. The play is memory. Being a memory play, it is dimly lighted. It is sentimental. It is not realistic. In memory, everything seems to happen to music. That explains the music in the wings. I'm the narrator of the play and also a character in it. The other characters are my mother Amanda, my sister Laura, and a gentleman caller who appears in the final scenes. He is the most realistic character in the play, being an emissary from a world of reality that we were somehow set apart from. But since I have a poet's weakness for symbols, I am using this character also as a symbol. He is the long-delayed, but always expected something that we live for. There is a fifth character in the play who appears in a larger-than-life-size photograph over the mantel. This is our father, who left us a long time ago. He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distances and skipped the light fantastic out of town. The last we heard of him was a picture postcard from Mazatlan on the Pacific coast of Mexico, containing a message of 2 words. Hello? Goodbye. And no address. I think the rest of the play will explain itself. Big Daddy, you sure on the shooting jack here tonight. But you know what I like to hear most? Solid, quiet. perfect, unbroken quiet. Because it's more peaceful. Now, are you through talking to me? Well, sir, every so often you say to me, you want to have a talk, and when we talk, it never materializes. Nothing is said. You sit in a chair and gas on about this and that, and I look like I listen. I try to listen, but I don't listen, not much. Communication is awful hard between two people, and somehow between me and you, it just don't. Something hasn't happened. The click. This click that I get in my head that makes me peaceful. This click that I get in my head that makes me peaceful. I've got to drink till I get it. It's just a mechanical thing, something like a switch. Turning the hot light off and turning the cool light on. That's the truth, Big Daddy. I'm an alcoholic. This talk is like all the other talks we've had together in our lives. It's nowhere. Nowhere. We talk, you talk in circles. It's always the same thing. You say you want to talk to me and you don't have a rotten thing to say to me. Why do I drink? Disgust. No one single person and no one lie. The whole damn thing. Are you suggesting that I started drinking when Skipper died? Did Cooper and May suggest that too? I thought that was Maggie's suggestion. Who else's suggestion is it? Is it yours? Who else's suggestion is it? You think so too. You call me your son and a queer. Maybe that's why you put Maggie and me in this room that was Jack Straw's and Peter Ocello's room, in which that pair of old sisters slept together in a double-wide bed until both of them died. You think so too. Who else thought that Skipper and I were? You think me and Skipper did sodomy together? Is that what you think? Think we did dirty things between us? You think we were a pair of dirty old men? Straw? Ocello? A couple of fucking sissies? Queers? Is that what you think? Why can't exceptional friendship, real, deep friendship between two men be thought of something as clean and pure instead of being thought of as fairies? Fuck May and Cooper. Fuck all dirty lies and lies. Skipper and me had a clean friendship practically all our lives till Maggie got the idea you're talking about. Normal? No. It was too rare to be normal. Any pure, true thing between two people is too rare to be normal. Oh, sure, maybe every once in a while he would put his head on my shoulder, I would put mine on his. Or maybe when we were two in the country playing pro football, we would reach hands across the bed just to shake hands goodnight. It was a pure and true thing, and that's not normal. We're finally going to have that real, true talk they wanted to have between us, Big Daddy. It's too late now. We got to go through it all the way and cover every subject. Maggie declares that Skipper and I went into pro football after we left Ole Miss because we were scared to grow up. Wanted to keep on tossing those long, high passes that couldn't be intercepted except by time. The aerial attack that made us famous. And so we did. We kept it up for one season. We held it high. But that summer, Maggie laid down the law to me, said now or never. So I married Maggie. She went on the road with us that fall with the Dixie Stars. A great show, being the world's biggest sport. Rented hotel rooms for victory celebrations, wouldn't cancel when it turned out defeat. But Skipper, he had that fever which came back on him, and I got that injury. Turned out to just be a shadow on the x-ray plate and a touch of bursitis. I lay in a hospital bed. Watched our games on TV. Saw Maggie sitting on the bench next to Skipper when he was hauled out of a game for fumbles. Burned me up the way she used to hang on his arm. You know, I think Maggie had always felt sort of left out because she and me never got any closer together than two people just getting in bed, which is not much closer than two cats on a fence humping. So machine, Maggie, took the time out to work on poor, dumb Skipper. He was a less than average student at Ole Miss, you know that, don't you? Poured in his mind the dirty, false idea that we were, him and me, was a frustrated case of that old pair of sisters, Jack Straw and Peter O'Chell. Skipper went to bed with Maggie to prove it wasn't true. And when it didn't work out, he thought it was true. Skipper broke in two like a rotten stick. Nobody ever turned so fast to a lush, or died of it so fast. Now, are you satisfied? Everything's going downhill around here, Hey, who all's registered here of my acquaintance? Any old timers in town? No, sir, Mr. Charlie, that's all I'm getting anymore. You mean to say I won't be able to scare up a poker game tonight? Seems like every time I come into town, it's more of the new and less of the old. And by God, this newsstand of cotton I see is not worth picking off the crap. Why don't you tell that young fella, Mr. Bob Hopper, to drop up here for a drink? Looks like otherwise I'll be playing solitaire. Boom, boom, boom. Here comes the parade. I'll step on in, son. Pour yourself a drink. Now, why do you carry them comic sheets around with you? Poverty of imagination. Superman, The Adventures of Tom Tyler. None of it's half as fantastic as life itself. When you arrive at my age, which is 7 to 8, you have a perspective of time on earth that astounds you. Literally astounds you. You say it all couldn't have happened, and that it all can't be true. And for what reason? You begin to wonder. What? You're with Schultz and Warner, aren't you? They've been in business, what, about 25 years? Infancy. You heard this one, Bob? A child in his infancy don't have half as much fun as adults. In that adultery. I'm a drinking man, Bob. I quit drinking for a bit because my stomach perforated. And ulcers? Well, every drinking man's got ulcers once, some twice. 27 pounds I lost since August, Bob. A man of my age and constitution, he ought not to carry so much of that adipose tissue. Terrible strain on the heart. I want to show you something, Bob. Look at here. I want to show you a fancy display of a little slipper. Some people say that the cosmopolitan's not abreast of the times. That is an allegation which I deny, and which I intend to disprove by the simple little display of this here slipper. Oh, by the way, did you know old Marblehead Langdon in Fry's Point, Mississippi? Yeah. Well, they found old Marblehead dead in his bathtub a week ago Saturday night. Yes, they did. Yeah, old Marblehead dead and buried. Had a Masonic funeral. I helped carry the casket. Well, anyway, look at this piece of merchandise and tell me what you think of it in plain language. Now, ain't that a piece of real merchandise, you squirrel? This ain't a shoe that you have to look at under the microscope to see its quality stuff as well as quality looks. It ain't a shoe that Mrs. Jones of Hattiesburg, Mississippi is going to throw back in your face a couple or 3 weeks later because it comes to cardboard in the first grade. No, sir. I want you to know that shoe is only a small indication of what our spring line consists of. Hotcakes! That's what I'm selling, Bob! Well, it was a mighty shocking piece of news I received this afternoon, Bob. News about old Gus Hammer. He's one of the old war horses from way back, Bob. Me, and this boy's daddy, CC, used to play poker every time we were in town together in this here self-same room. Well, I want you to know, CC's been going around in one of them chairs with an electric motor on it, you know? Goes chug, chug, chugging along the road with the butt of a cigar in his mouth. Well, just last week, as I go inside the Elks Club lounge, I see Gus being helped out by the nigger. Hello, hi, Gus. That was at 6:15. Just half an hour later, Carter Bowman steps inside the hotel lobby and informs me that old Gus Hammer had just now burnt himself to death. That's what I said. He had fallen asleep in his chair with the butt of a nickel cigar in his mouth, set his clothes on fire, and burnt himself to death right like a piece of paper. You don't believe me, man. Now, why on earth would I be lying to you about a thing like that? He burned himself up right like a piece of paper. Ain't that a bitch of a way to go? But one way or another way, we all got to go sometime. Maybe you don't know it, but us old-timers are disappearing fast. I reckon I'm nearly the last of the Delta drummers. 46 years I've been on the road since March. So I want you to know, I lost a mighty good customer this week. Old Ben Summers, Spry's Point, Mississippi, fell over dead like a bolt of lightning had struck him as he went to pour himself a drink. At the cotton planters continued. Trouble of it, Bob? Mortality. That was the trouble of it. Some people think that millions now living are never going to die. I don't think that, Bob. I think that is a misapprehension not borne out by the facts. We go like flies when we come to the end of the summer. And who is going to prevent it? Who? Who's going to prevent it? The road's changed. The shoe industry has changed. The world that I used to know, that this boy's father used to know, the world we belong to, us old-time war horses, is slipping and sliding from under our shoes. And who is going to prevent it? Changes. A mild expression. Young man, I have witnessed a revolution. The atmosphere I breathe is not the same. But I'm an old war horse. Look at here, I got some nuts to show you. You ever seen a man with so many watches? Now, how did I